Thank you guys for having me. This is awesome.
You technically detoured to come spend some time with us on your day off.
Mm-hmm.
We like that. We appreciate that.
I like it. Thanks.
So you, like I mentioned, you are headlining your own tour this summer. It's the gospel tour. How's that been going?
Yeah, it's good. The planning is going really well. It's I didn't realize how much we were trying to do for the tour, which is good. You know, I like having like surprises and doing something new every time, but it's really, you know, just it's going to be so much fun. I mean, the energy's so different too, you know, for the live shows. It always kind of changes. I mean, we've always tried to have a really high energy show, but this one's like, I mean, I'm getting out of breath. It's kind of crazy. Like, for me, it feels like a Panic workout tape. I mean, I could sell this thing, you guys. You make some real dough. It's crazy. It's really fun though. I have a really good time.
Who are you sharing the stage with on this tour?
A bunch of bands. We have Magic the Man. We have Walk the Moon. Walk the Moon. Those guys are awesome. Those guys are super sweet, sweethearts, cuties. They're really fun.
Cuties.
And just really talented kids.
Nice, awesome. And I mean, you're kind of doing your own thing now. You kind of can make this show your own, this tour your own. You've had a lot of experience on the road with Fall Out Boy, and they kind of had a hand in getting you started in the first place. How'd that all come about?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was 17, and I think I just heard about, I was really sheltered as a child. I didn't really know about a lot of the scene at the time, just like what music. So I kind of heard about Fall Out Boy like a couple months before we tried to get signed by Pete. We, you know, had heard that, oh, this dude's, you know, starting at the label. Let's just, you know, shot in the dark, couldn't hurt. Let's put ourselves on Peerline and send him a link on like his live journal. So we tried to email him, and excuse me, that's the night before. And we tried to, you know, be like, hey, we've only got 2 songs right now. We've only written 2 songs, so if it doesn't work out, it's totally fine, we understand. We were like really self-deprecating in the email. We wrote it, we were just like, hey man, this is really cool, but you know what, honestly, like, don't even worry about it, like, oh, it's whatever, you know, it was like so sad, it was really sad. So he might have just felt bad for us, and was like, oh, sorry, these losers, you know. Which was really cool because he emailed us back and said, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas in like a week. Can you guys get ready to play for me? We'd never played a live show, we were really nervous. We didn't even have enough equipment, so we had to play it acoustically. It was me and our guitar player at the time, Ryan. We played the songs, and I had only been a singer for like a month. And I was like, how am I going to do this crap? I've never sang in my life. This is going to be awesome. I was really nervous, and my voice was cracking all the time. And he's like, you'll grow out of that. I still haven't. But yeah, it was really just amazing, you know, how interested he did seem. He took us out for tacos, and over some tacos, he told us he wanted to sign us, and that was just like the most surreal experience. I ran home, told my parents, like, oh, we're getting signed, we're getting a deal, we're going to be on a label, like, we're going to start touring and stuff in a van, it's going to be really shitty, it's going to be great though, it's going to be really cool. They're just like, cool, we don't care, like, you have to go to college. This isn't real, you know that, right? Like, they didn't believe it. And then,
I was going to say, you make it sound so easy almost. You send a message to Fall Out Boy, will you sign us? Yeah, sure, why not?
Really, yeah, we were just very, very fortunate because, we worked hard, like, once it happened, we were like, okay, we have how long before we have 4 weeks before we have to, okay, we have to write an entire album in 4 weeks, and then how much time do we have to record? 2 weeks. Okay, cool, we'll make the album in 2 weeks. Awesome. And we just had to do it, like, no budget. It was really nice, like, to be able to learn it that way. I think having that difficulty where everything was against us, it was awesome. Like, people just hated us, like, why do you get it? You guys are nothing. It was actually really great. It's really cool to have that.
Yeah, we had a good mentor, good supervisor. That's very lucky.
Pete is a miraculous man. He is sweet. He's a sweetheart. But he also is really business-minded, and he can, you know, he never told us what to do. He never said, hey, you guys have to do this. He just said, hey, if you do this, this is the path it's going to take you, and if you make this choice, then that's probably what's going to happen. So
gives you a little bit more wiggle room to kind of do your own thing and be your own band that way too.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, yeah, for sure. So you have that experience with Fall Out Boy, which is great. Now you're kind of doing your own thing with the gospel tour.
Yeah.
I also noticed that you have some recognition with the alternative press. You got some potential awards coming, maybe. That's
really bizarre. Yeah, it was. That's such a cool thing. I'm glad they're doing it too. I think this is like, you know, really a really big thing for them and us too, and every artist that gets to be a part of it. It's really kind of an awesome thing. They scheduled up this photo shoot, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want faux fur, and I want costumes." I didn't say it like that, but I was like, "Hey, you know, it'd be really cool is if I had this like trench coat," like all of a sudden. So they kind of just let you be creative with whatever it is. And I've been talking with them about performing at the awards show, and I think that's just going to be unreal. I don't know, I love performing in like different settings, something that's not your tour, you know, where you have complete control. You go in and you're like, okay, what are we thinking? Not just what am I thinking, like how do we accomplish this?
Right.
Sweet.
And they have you up for top artist as a band, and then you have you're up for best vocalist. So congratulations on that nomination.
That's right. I mean, that's ridiculous, but it's very flattering. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, everybody. It sounds so cliche now. The sentence, "It's an honor just to be nominated."
Yeah, it really is. It's an honor just to be nominated. I like to make the Academy. Yeah, it really is.
Right.
I know it sounds cliche.
Well, I mean, you've been nominated for some pretty big awards. I mean, like MTV Movie Awards, even some Grammys. Like, what does that feel like to even show up at events like that, like the Grammys?
So weird. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so weird. You show up and you're like, I mean, this sounds like really shitty, but we're like the least famous people there. We go there and there's like Miley Cyrus and there's T.I. and Diddy, and you've got like all these like celebrities. You've got like people that you're starstruck over, and you show up and they're like, hey, so what do you guys? Okay, get out of the way. Okay, T.I. You're just like, oh, all right, It's kind of crazy. It's just really weird. But the fact that we were even considered for awards is just, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where you kind of well up a little bit because you're like, is this real? I don't even know if it is. It doesn't feel real until you've like sat with the award for a little bit and you're like, oh, like I'm using my MTV award as toilet paper holder and stuff. And it's just like, wow, this is so weird. I like to give it a practical use, guys. I'm not just gonna let it collect dust. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
Have you ever fangirled in front of anybody at like the Grammys or any kind of award show like that?
I'm sure I have. Let me, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, oh, geez. When we won the award, actually, in 2007 at MTV, we were sitting next to the Hilton sisters, and like, I don't even like them. Like, really, I don't. I'm just like, but I get that they're huge. And for some reason, like, sitting next to Paris Hilton, I was just like I was freaking out in my mind. Like, I was trying to contain it and, like, be cool. Act like, you've been there before, like, that's what they tell you. Like, just act like it's cool, man. I know you've been there before. I'm just like, I can't. Like, I don't even think she's that cute. Like, I'm just, like, freaking out. Like, she's, holy shit, this is a Hilton. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah, so I mean, like, in those certain situations, you kind of freak out a little bit. But like, people that I really got nervous meeting was, I met Dave Grohl for the first time, which blew my mind. And he was the nicest, like, seriously, like, I would marry that dude, because he's such a sweetheart. I'm like, I fell in love with that guy. Like, he came backstage, we played a festival. We weren't even, like, opening really for them. It was just, like, part of the festival. And he came back to the dressing room and was like, hey, you guys mind if I use your little corner of that room to, like, I gotta write notes for the set list. And we was like, why aren't you using your room? He's like, oh, they're rehearsing stuff in there and like doing shots and shit. I'm like, that's so rockstar. That's so awesome. And I'm like, yeah, of course, come in. And he came in, hung out for a little bit. He's like, hey, you guys should come up and hang out on the stage. It was like the coolest experience ever. It was just unreal. Yeah, and so obviously you can tell I didn't really care for it. I was freaking out. I was freaking out. It was so crazy. He's the coolest guy ever. Yeah,
if he asked you, hey, do you want to come up? No, it's okay.
Yeah, well, he's like, yeah, you guys want to come up and watch from side stage? I was like, nah, for real? Like, we were freaked out. Are you serious? Yeah, dude, yeah. Are you kidding me? Come on.
And Dave Grohl, of all people.
Yeah, and then, like, before he goes on, he's backstage with all, like, everybody in the band, like, even just touring keyboard players, cello players and stuff. And they do this, like, ritual. I don't even know if they told people this. But they, like, do a ritual where they all take a shot of Jaeger before they go on stage. Or they did it that time. I don't know if it was just, like, a thing they always do. They take a shot. They're like, are you fucking ready? And then he just starts laughing. He's like, all right, let's just fucking go out there and play. And like, he's like, this is the coolest dude ever. I wish we had a ritual like that. We just high-five each other, so that's kind of cool. But
I think I'm going to start doing that every time before I go on the air. Just because Dave Grohl does it.
That might be dangerous, but yeah.
Yeah, it might be dangerous. So we're going to let Brendon do one